As the year goes on, I get closer and closer.
So to learn new skills and to build new acumen.
We can always touch. It's not.
When you get that, then you get a lot more excited about being around children.
Normal, in a sense, with all of the changes.
Or how you can transform your own business.
On developing the whole child, socially, emotionally.
Traditional route of teaching young people
how to set boundaries, because this little victim here needs to know how to.
Doing very well, so they use that term.
Sometimes expanded them to go up to 40 minutes.
All of those things in education, of course, those things are important.
Is going to our heads and our lungs.
The affirmations in the mirror for about 2 minutes.
What did you do in order to get yourself going?
This is amazing.
It happens, what seems to happen quite a bit in our school.
For the families to come, and they
not really for the child, or is it for us, for the parent?
And doing new things for our brain.
Who's orchestrating everything in this universe?
Which parts of the brain are used?
Based on that map that we have.
See you with your smiling face.
Atul, thank you very much for allowing me to join you. Namaste to you, my friends.
Hello, welcome, good morning, good evening to all of you who have joined us from different parts of the world to our Early Childhood Global Spotlight Talk Show. I am Atul Tyagi, once again from India. I'm also a co-founder of a preschool chain in the name of Wow Kids, having more than 150 centers spread across 20 states of our country. Friends, today, it's a very, very special day as we are doing our first book launch on this wonderful international group. Before we get started here, if you're just new, we do these live shows usually every Sunday, 9 p.m. my time, which is Indian Standard Time, and 11:30 a.m. EST in the United States. The point of these shows is to simply inspire all early childhood educators, parents, and all who have interest in small children. Also, let me tell you, if you have any questions during the show, feel free to leave a comment. We would be happy to take them up during the show. Friends, today, as I told you, we have a wonderful book launch by Jennifer Green Blair. And the name of the book is Gwendoline, Mindful Coloring Book. We are also joined.
Sorry. I was excited.
All right.
I'm excited.
Yes, we are all excited. We are also joined by our very own Maryann Harman from the United States. Before we get started, let me give a very small introduction. Not small, but a good, introduction for our guest, the author of this book that we are going to launch today, Jennifer Green Blair. She is a certified teacher with a variety of wellness and educational qualifications. She has over 17 years of experience working with all ages in the private and public educational systems, and close to 20 years working in the wellness industry. In addition to her B.Ed, she has degrees in environmental science honors, library science with specializations in physics and biology, and has additional qualifications in language health and children wellness education. Furthermore, she is a master trainer for Water Art Fitness International Incorporate, where she supports trainer education. Jennifer is also a life success and wellness coach, as well as author of #1 international best-selling book for children to help them have less stress and anxiety through mindful practice and the origin and the power of healing breath. Over the last 15 years, she has had a personal consulting business, Stellar Fitness and Travel, where she has worked with corporate, non-profit organizations and individuals of all ages to achieve their dreams through education, wellness, and travel with an unique approach to mindful adventure and experiences. She is a she is qualified to teach aquatic modalities, yoga, meditation, and laughter yoga. We are going to have some laughter yoga, Jennifer, this time. She is registered with Yoga Alliance, a member of OFC FPAO, as a registered health and exercise practitioner and personal trainer. Wonderful, Jennifer. It's so happy to have you on this group. We are too much excited to have you launch your book on this amazing international early childhood global mastermind group. Friends, we also have our very own Maryann Harman, who is the moderator of our global community and is also the founder of internationally respected Music with Mayor program. All right, I think it's time. So, shall we unveil the mindful coloring book? Are you ready, Jennifer?
Yes, and it needs a fanfare.
Let's
got the
have
kazoo.
the moment. Let's unveil the book, and we congratulate Jennifer Green Blair for her new book. Okay, let's go ahead.
Wow.
All right.
That needed more than kazoo. It needed the kazoo bow. It did. Larger excitement, Jen. I am so glad that you and I have gotten to know each other. Thank you, Atul. And we know how we all feel about mindfulness and getting children in touch with their own emotions and being able to self-direct and regulate. And so the idea that you took your first book and then made it like a workbook for children, but playfully, because it's a coloring book. So tell us about this. What is this book? How did it come about?
Such a great question. It's very exciting, actually. It's a journey, right? It's being amongst children and being in an environment that is magical, that allows children to find a place where they can create, investigate, be imaginative, and really foster their learning through a fun, magical journey. And that was kind of the pinpoint, the focus of where I started. And then it led, of course, to incorporating mindfulness in the most magical of ways in terms of how we could use mindfulness tools to further enhance the well-being of all children. Having said that, having had my first book, it was an actual story with activities combined into one. I realized that I wanted to create more resources. So as a result, one of the best ways to do that is to incorporate art activities, and coloring is one of them, as you know. And as you can tell, I'm all about color. And color is so powerful. There's so much science out there in terms of color psychology, how it can boost our mood, or how it can even lower our mood if we use color inappropriately, depending on how we respond to color. And color can be very individual as well. So coloring books are very powerful. when you look at a coloring book, you think maybe it's just a coloring book, but it's not. Not if it's used appropriately in a lesson that can be incredibly powerful to help children feel better and tap into those creative juices that they have. And so I was just so excited to create this extra book, this complimentary book as added value, as an added resource for children, so they can have more fun, have less stress, and live that magical journey on a day-to-day. So yeah, it's kind of where it kind of led up to. And yeah, it's all about bringing fun and mindfulness into one.
Jen, take a moment, please, and introduce Gwendoline.
Okay, so you can kind of see my mascot over here in my book.
Wow. Yes, we can see it. Okay.
So Gwendoline is a wonderful example of a magical, gentle dragon who loves mindfulness, who loves the environment, who loves children, and who loves to be able to play in the most magical of ways. She really teaches us how to connect with nature, how to connect with others and build community. And that's what Gwendoline represents. She is all about community, inclusivity. Doesn't matter what we look like, where we're from. What matters is that we are one global family. And that's what she represents. She represents all of us and the potential inside us of being these amazing, mindful human beings, being and living our best life and being able to contribute in a world so that we can make the world a better place. So that's what Gwendoline is all about.
Yes. And
I think before we go ahead, let me give a big shout out for so many people who have joined. Okay. Hi, Chittamusha. She has joined. Siddharth has joined. Tony Kasba. Hello to you. And we have Preeti. Preeti has joined. Annie Hardock has joined the show. Then we have Tanya Dawn, who has joined. Yes, I think she's your friend. So, right. Yes, please.
All right. So for a while, and I know this wasn't on our list, but of course, something you said sparked something in me, and that is coloring books and how important they are. And for a while there was a big anti-coloring book movement because they felt that children shouldn't have coloring books because no one should show you what the dragon should look like. You should draw your own dragon. I've never one that supported that. I think that as long as we don't tell them they have to be in the lines and what color the dragon has to be. So can you talk a little bit more about the value of coloring books? Because we might still have some people that are thinking, oh, well, I was told we shouldn't use coloring books. And your art background should really, and I'm betting that Anne that was on a couple of months ago would say the same thing. Coloring books serve a purpose. So expound on that a little bit.
Sure. Excuse me. Coloring is an amazing tool to use when we're developing lesson plans, whether we're educators or parents trying to nurture our children so that they can have a more creative, more resilient life. Coloring books tap into the imagination in the most amazing ways. You're giving a child an opportunity for them to express themselves through color, and you don't have to draw or color in the lines, as you said. I mean, allow a child to be who they want to be in the moment. And by simply choosing the colors, by simply expressing themselves, there's a whole multi-intelligence approach to this, as well as social emotional learning components. So we want to talk about science, we want to talk about educational pedagogy, then we're tapping into that when we use coloring books. So again, we're tapping into the color psychology aspects as well. So there is a lot of amazing educational benefits when we come to using a tool such as a coloring book. It allows us to help children with their motor skills, fine tune their dexterity and so on. I mean, there's so much to be said for using a coloring book. And this particular book actually has journal prompting in it as well. So it actually goes one step further. So in terms of enhancing the mindfulness piece, it has coloring, but it also has the journaling component that allows children to tap further into their emotions so that they can express themselves and learn to express themselves through writing. So we're also tapping into that aspect, right? So really exciting to be able to incorporate all that together into a meaningful, mindful experience where children can learn to tap into their innermost feelings and learn to better communicate with others through the activities that are in this book. So,
can you give us an example of one?
Sure. So there are coloring pages that are pretty common, as you would find in a coloring book, but there's also, for example, pages that talk about the breath, the powerful healing breath. And it reminds, the prompt would be, let's take a few breaths right now. So it allows children to take pause and breathe during their journey of coloring, for example. So there's activities such as that. So tapping into the mindful breath, the powerful healing breath. And there's other prompts such as expressing how they're feeling. So there's one of the themes throughout my series of books now, because now I have two, I'm actually working on another. There is a theme of bubbles, and bubbles are, for me, and bringing it into fruition in the book and in the stories and in this series, bubbles are creative and imaginative, and they represent breath, right? Using our breath. And so you'll see pictures of bubbles where kids can put their emotions into the bubbles. How are you feeling today? Do you have negative feelings? Let's write them in the bubbles and let them float away, for example. So those kinds of prompts are in there as well. So we take those little pieces and integrate them into one, allowing children to experience a mindfulness journey without realizing all the benefits that they're attaining. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like this book actually can be different things for different ages. So what age do you start, and how does it grow with them?
Great question. So, I mean, it's out there in the world for ages about 7 to 11. However, younger children can use it. It's also great for children with maybe some dexterity challenges as well. So if there are children with certain issues with needing extra focus and attention with just learning motor skills and so on, they are able to use these books as well. So not even just an age thing, but it's very very good for different needs and different abilities as well. So, which is great in the classroom when teachers are looking for ways to modify their lesson plans, right, and accommodate children with all needs and all attention in terms of how to best serve our students, for example, as well. So I hope that answers your question a little bit more.
Yes, I mean, I can see how it can also be used with children 4 up, because you just wouldn't go as much into depth. Like last week, I think it was, when we had Deirdre on, and she talked about the fine motor. So I thought it was really good that we follow up here with the coloring book, because she was discussing at what age do you start and what kind of lines do they make when. And so the coloring book is something where it can grow, and I love it. I'm going to have to get copies of the book and the coloring book, because I need to, have them in my repertoire for things that I use to work with children. But let's step back a moment. Let's not ever assume that the people watching understand all the words you're using. So
Yes.
what is mindfulness? What is mindfulness?
Very, very good points. I know often when we've been living a certain life and using the skills, we sometimes take it for granted and not everyone is aware. And that's why we're here, to empower others so that we can all use these strategies. It's for everyone, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And so what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is simply, and I say simply, but we'll delve into that a little bit further. Mindfulness is simply sitting or taking pause in the moment that you might be in and observing what might be happening internally as well as externally, whether it's good or bad. You place no judgment on it. And in fact, you give compassion to yourself in that moment and compassion to that situation, whether it's good or bad. So having said that, when I say simply, it really isn't so simple. It really does take practice. It takes discipline. It takes consistency to get better at this skill. It's like anything. It's like a muscle, and we want to exercise it. And as we do that, we get better at it, and we get even greater rewards as time goes on. So that's kind of mindfulness in a nutshell. And it comes in different facets. We can incorporate it in various ways. This simple act of breathing, that powerful healing breath, is the first part, or the foundation, if you will, of mindfulness. And that's why I always go back to the breath, because it's something that we all can use and can all be empowered to use in the most effective ways to start our mindfulness practice. And then we can go from there.
I think it is very, very important for early childhood educators to start practicing mindfulness in their classrooms, because I feel personally a lot of them are not doing it, and it's very, very important, especially after these last 2 years, how people have spent these last 1.5 years. It's all the more important for children to be resilient, I believe, to understand, and be in the moment and try to practice and learn to be in the moment. So it's very, very important to practice mindfulness, and not only for children. I think there should be classes and much more information for the teachers, for the parents. They need to practice mindfulness first, and then it will be easy for them to actually teach their children this skill of being mindful. So I personally feel that it's very, very important that one must practice mindfulness.
Really powerful words. I completely agree. And it's like anything. I mean, when we start something, it creates this positive momentum forward, and it's that skill we were talking about, getting into that regular routine. And it's when you start to see those results, it's like anything. When you start to get that momentum, you get motivated to want to learn more and want to do more. And when we start to be able to incorporate these skills into our family units, into our local and global community, into our classrooms, our school community, it's just so fulfilling and so motivating for the whole, not just one person, but everyone starts to become better for it. Yeah,
absolutely. We have some questions, we have some comments. We have Charlotte who says, how can I order the book? I'm sure we're going to tell her.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
And then we have a comment from Preeti. She says, I echo Jennifer's thought. Even when a child has not learned to speak, they express themselves through colors, shapes, drawing, and it helps them build their motor skills and concentration. At Wow Kids, we have experienced how an anxious child calms down or feels happy with colors and drawing. So she's actually directly relating to your book, that children feel in the moment with colors and drawing. That's something that, especially the children who are very anxious, this coloring and just scribbling, I will say, not only coloring, just taking that pencil and just scribbling. Sometimes we have observed that those crying babies or those anxious babies, they calm down if you give them something to scribble. So Preeti says, I believe every home should have a wall dedicated to children to draw.
Oh, I love it. That's brilliant. Right. I love it.
Okay.
I think,
yes, Maryann,
with the mindfulness too, and coming out of the pandemic, we have spent a lot of time alone. So the introspection and the learning to be mindful of oneself has happened, I think, a lot. And I think that the other important step is mindfulness of others. So you might be so it's another way, like if you can color individually, where you're by yourself and you have your coloring book and your crayons. But you can also color if you're in preschool or even at home with siblings in a group. And there's the mindfulness of working together, sharing the colors, and learning that you're not the only one. And I think it opens up even more discussion on, wow, I painted my dragon purple and yours is green. Why did you pick green? So all these extensions, and being mindful as a teacher and or a parent, that sometimes to allow this to be a personal individual thing, and sometimes for it to extend to working with others. So when you teach this book and give examples of how it can be used, you talked about, the individual, but then in one of the questions you had put down about best use of this book to support children in the classroom. So you must have some ideas on that.
Yeah, well, you actually touched on it just now, is that it creates conversation. And I'm all about storytelling, and henceforth the books. And, when we empower children to have a voice and to feel strong and confident in themselves to be able to share what they're expressing, we create resilient, healthy human beings and empower them to share their message with the world. And it starts with giving them those tools where they feel confident. And a coloring book can be used as a powerful lesson in the classroom and at home if you're having children who are having challenges with expressing themselves, right? Who are having trouble communicating. This is a great way for them to foster the experience of really connecting with what they're feeling in the moment, and then being able to find ways to express it to others. And there actually, when I ask people to register for my book launch, one of the free bonuses I'm offering is how to use a lesson plan through coloring practice. So it's an added benefit that I'm sharing with people.
That's very important, because I feel that a lot of educators, teachers may not be knowing it, how to use that book, or maybe, coloring as an activity to teach mindfulness. Please. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've definitely addressed that, and in fact, it's a free gift that I'm offering for those that are looking to purchase the book, is they're getting this added value where I'm giving a free bonus lesson plan activity done for you, where you literally can download it, and it's got even a coloring page in it from the book, and it takes you step by step as an example of how you could use a coloring page as a way to help improve. It's a mindfulness activity, but also help improve the communication piece as a lesson in the classroom. Parents can use it at home if your child is having trouble communicating. If your child is having issues with expressing themselves, or just feeling bad or feeling sad, this is a great way for them to let those emotions out on paper. And I love the way, Atul, you brought that attention. Wow, children, it's really, coloring is just one part of it. The other part is that manual aspect, that the motor skill where they're actually letting it out physically on paper. It's like journaling again, right?
Yes, it's joy.
Yeah, they're getting it out. They're getting it out of their
you're expressing. It's a form of expression. A lot of children at that early age, they can't speak. They may not be comfortable making a full sentence or verbalize their thoughts. But definitely there is an expression that they can make through colors and coloring book, which is very, very important.
And of course, I'm going to bring up the research about tying the music into it, because they find, the research they find is that certain colors seem to come out depending on the sounds. So the style of music that you're using, if it's real loud and moves a lot, they seem to go with reds, but if there's music that sounds ominous, the kids go to grays and blacks. And it's just interesting how music can affect that as well. So when you take the whole picture, the whole thing, and I do have songs, that can be used for this, but where you put the music on, you have them move and then sit down and draw it.
Absolutely. I was just coming to the point that music, not alone, but music and movement together can actually even do a very drastic transformation in children. You can actually grow happy children by
Yes, you
teaching them
can.
music and movement at a very early stage. I personally feel children who enjoy music or have been in the environment where music is promoted, as a family they listen to music, they have fun, they dance, all, those children are very very happy when they grow up. And there are, the other side, there are a lot of children who are not exposed to, where the parents don't listen to music, have no interest in music, they don't have any other way to have fun. Music is so much fun along with movement. It's amazing. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
and they know that children that do activities like this with their parents, and
Yeah.
parents continue to do it, even past the point when the child's going, "Oh, this is so lame," but inside the child's going, "Yes, you're still doing these things with me." And even though they're doing that, they are glad you're still doing it, and they find that these children have better relationships that extend not through the difficult teen years, but into young adulthood. So sitting there with a coloring book, talking about it, teaching them to be mindful, getting up, putting some music on with it, or asking the child, what music do you think would go with this page? How would you move? And tying all three of those together, that's the best. That's the total brain, and also the different aspects of emotion and physical as well as visual and connection. There's just everything, and you know that, Jen. Everything at Tool. That's what they do at Wow Kids, and make sure that all of this is connected. So
Absolutely.
how do we get this book? What do we?
All right. Before that, Tanya Dawn has a very good comment. I think she knows you. So she says Jennifer has the calm effect in everything she endeavors. She has the biggest heart, and she says that love you. So that's the message from Tanya
She
for
loves you.
Jennifer. Okay,
That
and
is
Preeti
sweet.
says most melodious music is the music with Mer, a song for everything little ones need to learn. So
Thank you,
let me
Preeti.
tell you, all the viewers, that we follow music with Mer as a part of our curriculum in our schools. It's simply wonderful, and we have a song for each and everything. You name it, and she has a song for it. And surprisingly, most of them are sung and composed by Maryann herself. So we have a celebrity whom you're watching, and we are glad and very fortunate to be a part of this group together, and just rallying through this time together. All right.
Yes. We have another big comment here now. Do you want to read it?
And Siddharth says, when you want to make the main color pure and bright, don't just keep adding bright colors on it. Just make the colors around the darker spot and dull. It will give the scene dramatic effect. I think the life is the same. So he has some deeper insight to the colorings. Okay.
So, Jennifer, let's get down to that. People, we already had people ask, how do we get the book? Where is the book? And an important question, too, to tie in is, do you need the first Gwendoline for the coloring book to make more sense?
Wow, these are great questions. So no, you can have them independently. However, if you want a good compilation and a more comprehensive package, if you will, of more resources, it's always good to have both. The first book has, I think, 1 or 2 coloring pages because it has activities in it, and it has other kinds of activities that are more focused on the powerful healing breath. This one is focused more on coloring itself. So there are more coloring pages. And again, as I mentioned, the journal prompts to help children connect with the writing aspect of letting out their emotions on paper. So we're going that step in this particular coloring book. So they can be independent, absolutely, but they work very synergetically together, and you get a much more fuller, more meaningful complement as a package.
Okay,
Definitely.
so Tell us about that, because you have resources to help parents further support the use of these things, and you have a Gwendoline's Mindful Sprite Kids Club as well. So how do children become a part of that?
Sure. So I know there's like lots going on. So for it to access the book, right now it is officially launched on Amazon. So you can actually look it up on Amazon.
officially
as of our launch. So it is. I can access the link. We are having an after party afterwards where I have the links available. So if people want to continue on with the journey, I will be actually going into the coloring book activities a little bit further in terms of additional resources. So you are welcome to come join us for the after party as well, where I can actually give you the links if that helps. In the meantime, you can definitely go on Amazon and access it there. And if you want, I can drop it in the link, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't go there yet. So as far as the kids Mindful Sprites Club, that one is easily accessible as well. If you contact me, people on Facebook can DM me. Actually, it's that easy to just DM me, and I can send you more information. So I have a website and so on, and there's all kinds of easy other ways to access it. But the easiest way is just to contact me directly, because there are a variety of different tools and programs that I can offer depending on what someone is looking for. So for educators, for instance, might be a little different than what parents might need. So yeah.
Well, I think that tying it all together, building, I think personally you build. So you get the book first, and you get familiar with Gwendoline, and then you get the coloring book and let the children get immersed into it. I think one of the things I like about this, and I encourage teachers to see it this way, is that it's something that can be done together, or should be done together. It's not you put the coloring book on the floor or on a table, give them crayons and say, have at it. Because you yourself, as a parent, as a teacher, are never just in the experience to teach. You are always also learning. And I think that I would like to take a moment and thank Jennifer for the teaching experience that she is handing not just to children, but to the adults as well. And doing it together will be a wonderful experience on both ends. I think you might find one page and think, all right, we're going to spend 10, 15 minutes here and move on. And an hour later, you might realize, oh my gosh, I got taken in so many different directions. And personally, Jen, I am already got a Gwendoline tune going in my head. So it'll happen. So get the tools, use them with the children, be a part of it. There are going to be things in there that you can learn as well. And then write to Jen, hey, I had this idea. I mean, sharing the ideas afterwards is another big plus. So lastly, I think we have this all now, that all the other things we're going to talk about. Are there any other resources that you want us to know about? And I think Atul was perfectly fine with you putting the links in the feed here, because I'm a big proponent on the Early Childhood Global Mastermind Group. I've been working hard at getting people to stay with a certain comment and build all the ideas in the same feed, so that somebody doesn't have to go, now where was that and where was that? They just know we go to Jennifer's spotlight and we can find everything about this topic and all the other things other people added to it. So please put the links there. I think, I'm not sure if it's really clear for everyone on how to get the book. Is it available now? Where is it available specifically? So if you're not and you have any other questions, we're coming near the end of our time. So please post a comment so we know what it is you're wanting to know. So Jen, want to review that because people don't always remember just what they hear the first time.
Good point. The multi-intelligence approach. Absolutely. So I'll just verbally say it, and then thank you for giving me that opportunity to place it into the chat. I'll do that soon. So we're on Amazon officially as of the book launch, so people can access the book through Amazon, and it's at a launch price right now, which is fantastic. It is only available on soft cover right now on Amazon. However, because a coloring book is not, and that's one of the issues with Amazon, is that with coloring books, they're not able to do ebooks with them. So it's intended to be an actual book. So it will be found as a soft cover. However, I do have an ebook option separate because I have some software that has allowed that to be possible. So I have that opportunity on a separate link. So if somebody does want that, we do have access to that as well. So you can you'll have that option as well. But I do encourage the soft cover, ideally though, because it is a beautiful physical piece that you can actually use, and that is part of that.
It has to be colorful. You can't take a printout and start doing it. You can, but still, a good quality print is always better to buy from Amazon, and they send it to you immediately. So I'm sure it's going to come out soon.
And to further motivate people, what is that discount special if you get it?
So right now I'm offering bonuses to enhance. So we'll start with that. So for people who are purchasing the book, that's why I encourage people to officially register with the link that I gave, because then what I do is I'm able to give them that free downloadable lesson plan to further help them and support them. And then I'm also offering a mini workshop valued at about $100 US. So it's something that I would do as a consulting appointment with educators to show them how to do mindfulness in a colorful way, if you will. So I actually go even one step further and provide that as a free bonus value for people who are buying the coloring book. So it's kind of a no-brainer. You're getting these amazing bonuses.
Is that the link that Tony just posted?
I believe so. Yes. So if you if you sign up there, that's Amazon, you can actually access the coloring book. But registering will allow you to tap into those additional bonuses for free. So there are actually two separate links that I'm going to ask him to help you have in the chat. So I think he'll get that one shortly for you.
So does Tony work for you or Gwendoline?
By the way, Tony's my husband, in case people don't know.
I kind of figured that. So
yes.
I wasn't sure
that's
whether
the reason. So Maryann, we know that you could find out, and that's why you asked. So
he's my tech support. He's very kind.
He's always said that before, but I just wasn't sure if he worked for Gwendoline or you.
He was actually it was my mother and Tony who actually were part of developing the first steps of creating the Gwendoline series. So along with some wonderful children who inspired. So it's kind of cool.
It is always good when you can also work together. So I think we have all the information. I think we've generated excitement, but just in case, we need to keep that excitement up there. And Atul, is there anything missing that you think we should have?
Absolutely fantastic. We are very proud of you to have joined this group and launch your group, your book on this group. And we wish you all the best. And I urge all the viewers, everybody on this group, to just grab a copy the moment you get it from Amazon. It's going to be amazing. We know Jennifer, personally, we know the kind of expert she is in her job, and I'm sure this is one of a kind book for small children, and it is beyond, I think, 10 notches ahead or even more than just a coloring book, because it is related to mindfulness. Please buy a copy from Amazon. My sincere thanks once again to everyone for watching this show. Maryann, Jennifer, both of you to have joined the show and launching this book. I also
Wonderful.
thank viewers once again for taking your precious time to watch the show. Our best wishes once again to Jennifer and everyone. Until we meet again next week. Before I let you go, let me play that launch video once again. Okay, and we say goodbye with that.
I would